Okay, good. We'll take it. All right, well, welcome everyone to the Washington County Board of Commissioners. We appreciate you being here on this February the 2nd, 2021. Seems crazy that a whole year has gone by since the madness started. We are so grateful for those who are going to participate today, and right off the bat, we have our invocation by Laura Fairchild of the Baha'i Faith. We appreciate her being here and representing the Interfaith Council. She's on Zoom. So, Laura, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
We are ready for you to offer our invocation in any time.
Thank you so much. I'm Laura Fairchild, and I represent the local Baha'i community and the Interfaith Council. This is a prayer for meetings. O divine providence, this assemblage is composed of thy friends who are attracted to thy beauty and are set ablaze by the fire of thy love. Turn these souls into heavenly angels. Resuscitate them through the breath of thy Holy Spirit. Grant them eloquent tongues and resolute hearts. Bestow upon them heavenly power and merciful susceptibilities. Cause them to become the promulgators of the oneness of mankind and the cause of love and concord in the world of humanity, so that the perilous darkness of ignorant prejudice may vanish through the light of the Sun of Truth. This dreary world may become illumined. This material realm may absorb the rays of the world of spirit. These different colors may merge into one color, and the melody of praise may rise to the kingdom of thy sanctity. Verily, thou art the omnipotent and the almighty. Amen.
Amen. Laura, thank you so much. And please extend to all of those representatives of the Interfaith Council our sincere appreciation for your participating in these meetings.
We're happy to do it. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Next, we'd like to have our Pledge of Allegiance by Jasmine Monral. And if you would come to the mic and lead us, that'd be great.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I can please have you rise. Follow me in the pledge. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Thank you, and best to your commander. At this time, we'd like to invite one of our business leaders who's been very active in the community to come up and introduce a special guest that he's brought with us. Stephen Wade is certainly part of, as all of you know, a vital part of our economic engine, but also our transportation needs. So please, Stephen, take the mic and take a moment.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate it. It's nice to be able to spend a minute with you and realize what all the things you do over here that we don't realize are taking place all the time. We appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk about the events of the day. One of the items that's on the agenda today has a lot to do with Pine Valley, and we've been really pleased with the way things are turning out and the involvement and how the request has changed. And Emily Nelson, who's been involved when this came about and there was a concern in the community, we had a group that got together about what would take place in Pine Valley and its future and its future needs and the needs of the people there. And so Emily was asked to be in charge of that and has done a wonderful job. And it was interesting as we sent out the information to all the residents there, the feedback that we got. And so Emily has just a little something she'd like to read for just a minute. She could do that and give you a little feel for what's going and how much we appreciate what's taking place.
And I sense from you that it's a feeling of unity amongst all parties.
It is definitely a feeling of unity, and we want that. Believe me, we've never wanted anything but that. And we respect what the folks are trying to do there. We respect that and we want that. We just want to preserve this wonderful
Sure.
community. So Emily, if you could come forward and do that.
About a minute. Yep.
Thank you again.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak for just a moment. As he said, my name's Emily Nielsen, and I represent a committee that was formed when the applicants first approached the county with the request to zone this as rural recreational. Their intent, as you know, was to build high-density campgrounds as well as residential lots. This committee, many who are also fifth and sixth generational Pine Valley residents, as the applicants are, want to thank the applicant for changing this request. It's now in compliance with the Pine Valley General Plan. And we appreciate and understand the respect of this unique and historical community. We'd also like to use this opportunity to let the commission and the applicant know what we discovered as part of our committee's work. We sent postcards to every single Pine Valley property owner. In addition to learning 617 Pine Valley property owners were opposed to rural recreation zoning, which of course is no longer relevant here, we understand that. We also learned that something is relevant, and that is their overwhelming support of the current Pine Valley General Plan. We thought that'd be interesting to you. Just 10 years ago, this original plan was reviewed and updated, and the key points that include protecting signature landscapes, which are our open meadows and agricultural space, limiting commercial businesses, and protecting the residential and historical nature of the town. We want to thank the county for the steps it took last April to preserve our history when it included Pine Valley in its updated resource management plan, identifying it as an area rich in cultural and historical significance. Our town residents have taken steps of their own to preserve the open meadows and agricultural spaces. The Pine Valley Meadows Preservation Project was established in 2006 to acquire and preserve these signature landscapes in Pine Valley, and to date 75 acres have been added to this trust with the goal of adding at least 200 more acres. And this will help us preserve the open meadows. And preserving the open meadows was one reason the applicants changed their zoning requests, and that they're leaving 5 of their acres open as agricultural, at least this is what they had explained to the planning staff. Although they stated at the Planning Commission that they have no interest in selling their acreage to the trust. Some in the valley are concerned that we might be back here in a few years fighting this battle again. We sincerely hope not. As for commercial businesses in Pine Valley, property owners still say a resounding no, no, no. The general plan calls for strictly limiting businesses to those that are designed to benefit the residents, and 99% of the full-time residents say, no more, there's enough. Our valley is already suffering from the growth of nightly rentals. Some of the debate at the Planning Commission was about the intent of the homes built on those lots. The applicant said he didn't know what his future plans were for what's going to be built on that lot, and that's fine. None of us know what our future is down the road. And you've no doubt heard every community is concerned about nightly rentals, but there is one unique to Pine Valley we'd like just to point out. As part of our research, we found out that the majority of complaints made about unsafe fire pits come from these nightly rentals, and that's something very unique to Pine Valley. Our fire chief has stated this is a serious concern right now, and he's concerned as rentals increase, that that'll become more and more of a concern. If the applicant intends to distribute the lots within his family as presented to the Planning Commission, we thank them for the respect they are showing to the valley and to their ancestors. If they're just waiting and hoping to present their original plan at a later date, I hope this information from other Pine Valley residents helps them see that we all love this valley just like they do, and we want to preserve the unique history of Pine Valley. But we need you, the County Commission. You have many pressures as the county grows. I can't imagine the pressures that you face on a daily basis. But we need your help to protect this unique and historical valley in Pine Valley. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
We now begin our meeting with our consent agenda, which is a means of expediting the consideration of routine matters. If a commissioner requests that items be removed from the consent agenda, those items are placed at the beginning of the regular agenda. Other than requests to remove items, a motion to approve the items of the consent agenda is not debatable. Dean, have you got this today?
I do. I would be pleased to make a motion in support of today's consent agenda, consisting of item A, consideration of auditor-approved claims for payment for January 20th, 2021 through February 2nd of this year. Item B, consideration of regular commission meeting minutes of January 19th, 2021. Item C, consideration of administrative adjustments for real property. Item D, consideration of administrative adjustments on personal property. And E, the consideration of 5 property tax abatement considerations that otherwise did not meet the deadlines or exact qualifications required for the abatement. And item F, acknowledgement of publishing notice of adoption of ordinance number 2021-1167-0 on Saturday, January 23rd, 2021. Be my motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that motion.
Wonderful. A motion and a second, no division. Can we hear aye if in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Obviously, none. Thank you so much. Item 1 of our regular agenda is a presentation of the 2021 PILT payment from the Division of Wildlife Services. Kevin Bunnell.
It at least
Thanks,
came
Kevin.
in a big
Thank you,
envelope.
Commissioners. Say that again, Commissioner?
It came in a big envelope.
Must be really big this year then.
Let me thank you. The last couple of years when I've come down here, I have followed an agenda item, I think usually from the sheriff's office when there's been millions of dollars discussed. And then I have handed you a check for just over $100. I'm glad I didn't have to follow them again this year. But I'm happy to be here to present our PILT payment from the Division of Wildlife Resources. And just to thank you for the cooperation. We've worked a lot together with the county over this past year with some good results that have just come out, and congratulations on that. I've got Rick here with me, who you all know well and can help answer any questions, but I just wanted to recognize in the process of the getting the HCP and the environmental impact statement done for the Northern Corridor, the leadership of Eric Clark. It wouldn't have happened without him and bringing that group together, and I very much appreciated working with him and his leadership.
And I don't think it would have happened without your group and bringing people like Rick to the table too. That this is a complex, very complex issue, and it goes back for a long time. And he has been boots on the ground for so long, I don't think there was anyone that understood how the creation of the HCP and or the Northern Corridor and how renewals and amendments work. And some people, it's just so easy to throw chairs in the aisle and try to block things instead of actually trying to say, how can we resolve this problem that while we're maybe getting by now, this county is growing, and it's growing rapidly, and it's changing. And how do we preserve our air and our quality and our environment, our habitat? That we need partnerships like the kind that we have with you. So thank you.
We do, and Commissioner, I wanted to thank you specifically for the kind words that you came and offered to Rick before the meeting. Often as in the position that I'm in, people come to me with those accolades, and I appreciate you recognizing that where those really are appropriate in this situation with Rick and his staff. That if I have questions about things in Washington County, that's my first go-to, and he never disappoints. So, thank you. Is there anything else, any other questions?
Kevin, I can add to Commissioner Cox the comment that I live right above the Virgin River, see it every day, watch the wildlife that's there, whether it's quite frankly, people would be astonished, I think, to what we see down there, including deer, beaver. I mean, it's an amazing display of wildlife. We also get a lot of criticism that says we pay no attention to that. And I want everyone to know that that falls on deaf ears here. When you sit in committees and we care about, our landscapes and our environment and the wildlife that's here and partnering with people, that I would hope that anyone criticizing the efforts that we're trying to do in a very rapidly growing county and area to boot, that we're not just throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It's just not a real, criticism that sometimes we get.
No, I think the fact that river corridor is in the shape it is, given the growth that's taking place and the ability to maintain that, in the face of endangered species and conservation issues, is a real testament to good planning and cooperation between, Rick's staff and others, and the county and the cities and others that are involved. So,
The big windows that we look out at the river on, the other day, we were all sitting and miraculously kind of facing that direction, although we weren't all looking out the window. But a bald eagle went by. And now, sadly, it had a mourning dove in its talons. But, so we have to teach that bald eagle to maybe eat store-bought
Make it a
food.
vegetarian next time.
Yeah.
but
But-
starlings would be okay.
Starling would be fine, yes.
Starlings
There's
would
a
be okay.
billion of those. But anyway, it was just kind of neat to think, you could be sitting in the middle of a metropolitan area and a bald eagle flies by. So
Sure.
it's quite a beautiful sight. Very good.
Okay,
Anything
thank you.
else,
Just one other update, a staffing update that's quite new, and then maybe the sheriff's office is aware of this, but Mark Eakins, who's been our sergeant down here, has accepted another position as an investigator, so we'll be replacing and interviewing to hire a new sergeant to run our law enforcement crew here in Washington County, and covers Washington and Iron counties. And so when that person's in place, I'll bring him and introduce them.
Wonderful.
So,
Thank you for your presentation, and we'll spend it wisely.
you're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Safe travels. Our next item is consideration of purchase request. Ray Boyer?
Speaking of spending that,
Yes.
I know I'm your favorite, so
Ray, how's it going?
good. Okay, again, I have quite a few, so bear with me. The first one we have here is for a new water line to separate the fire and culinary water systems at the jail. This is $13,750. The next one is to replace a folding door in the library's basement that was damaged in the flood. This is $30,495.
A big folding door, everyone.
It's a big folding
It's
door.
not, it's not a, to a laundry room
No.
or something,
It's a big-
that's,
Yes.
A good door.
yeah, it is.
The next one is for tourism. This is for a marketing package and a total of $10,000. The next one is a co-op marketing program in Belgium for $40,000. This is split between us and the Utah Office of Tourism. Our portion is going to be $5,000. The next one is a Utah Office of Tourism Co-op road tripping and recovery marketing project. This is a total of $127,000, and these costs will accrue between January and April of this year. The next one is for the Dixie Center. This is for crack sealing in the south parking lot. It's $15,800.60. The next one is for emergency services. This is going to be reimbursed by the EOD grant. This is the State Bomb Squad grant. It's for the Utah County Sheriff's Office for a generator and a storage trailer, and a total of $10,903.36. The next one is for the demolition derby at the fair for the purse and the production, a total of $70,000. Next one is materials for an automatic gate at Legacy Park. This one is $12,870. The next one is for prepare and pour concrete in the basement of the library that was damaged in the flood. This is a total of $26,850. The next one is for land testing for the Kolob project, Kolob Road Improvements Project, for $14,425. The next one is a material separator for the roads department, the roads crew. This is for $11,300. The next one is a blanket PO for culinary items at the jail. This is for $20,000. This will get us approximately through 3 months. The next one is a blanket PO for commissary purchases for the jail. This is $20,000, and again, this will get us through approximately 3 months. The next one is a blanket purchase order for culinary items for $180,000. This one will get us through approximately 6 months. And the final one is some fencing for the shooting sports park. And this is for $140. Unless there's any questions?
Ray, are those that are going into the damage we incurred, both the folding door and the floor and the
The concrete?
Yes. Is that part of the insurance reimbursement?
Yeah, the concrete one has been approved by the
Adjuster?
insurance one. And the door, it didn't say, but I could certainly
But at least that's temporarily out of pocket.
temporarily, yes.
Okay. All right, any questions on the?
No, everything looks in order. I think we've spent the $100 already. So with that, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the purchase requests that have been presented. So.
And I will second the motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Item number 3, consideration of ordinance number 2021-1168-0, an ordinance rezoning a certain portion of Washington County at approximately 1200 East Main Street in Pine Valley from A20 agricultural 20-acre minimum lot size zone to the A5 agricultural 5-acre minimum lot size zone and the FR 13.5 forest residential 13,500 square foot minimum lot size zone hereinafter fully described in this ordinance. Scott.
Yes, so the item before us has been discussed a little bit at the beginning of this meeting. The applicants, Nathan and Brian Theriot, family owns this property located in Pine Valley off of Main Street. They have been working on different plans for the project, and they have adjusted their plans and are planning to build do a subdivision, several lots, and to prepare for that subdivision, they are requesting a zone change. The zone change was properly noticed, and a public hearing was held in the Planning Commission meeting. They are requesting to rezone the property from the A20, which is agricultural 20-acre minimum lot size zone, to 5 of the lots will be, I believe it's 5 lots, will be the 13,500 square foot minimum lot size in the forest residential. And then the larger parcel will be rezoned to the A5, which is agricultural 5-acre minimum lot size. The Planning Commission reviewed it and voted to send a positive recommendation to the County Commission. It's further described in the ordinance and the staff report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I think it's been discussed. There's no doubt that Pine Valley is a beautiful valley. And then talking with Brian and the Theriots and the families that have been up there, it's kind of fun. Commissioner Gardner used to be on this commission, and his heart was there as well. And but this seems like a reasonable compromise that we have here. I know that we don't necessarily have a public hearing on the agenda, but the property owner is here. If he would like to speak to it, I think it'd be appropriate to allow him if he has anything he'd like to add.
Brian?
Chairman, with your permission.
Brian or Nate?
You don't have to. It's only
Yeah,
if
no
you-
family squabble over
you know,
this.
it's only if you had something that you'd like to add to it. So.
All right, well, thank you, Scott, for your presentation. Any questions for planning?
Commissioner, I was able to, along with you, attend this Planning Commission meeting, and I thought it was productive, and it's seen a lot of movement between the parties that frankly is something we don't see enough of, seems like anymore. But I would be, if it's appropriate, happy to make a motion in support of consideration of ordinance number 2021-1168-0, rezoning a certain portion of Washington County at approximately 1200 East Main Street in Pine Valley from A20 agriculture to the zone A5 lot and the forest residential 13.5 thousand, being 13,500 square foot minimum lot size zone herein fully described in this ordinance.
And I'll second that motion, and I just want to thank the family as well. I know that they put a lot of effort into this as they looked at this piece of property that they love and care about, and feel like they worked hard to kind of come up with a solution that would fit for them, and so, and the community and the residents. So, thank you.
Motion and a second. No further debate. I'll call for a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Thank you. All right, item number 4, an ordinance being considered number 2021-1169-0, an ordinance rezoning a certain portion of Washington County at approximately 180 North Pinion Hills Drive in Dameron Valley from the Open Space 20 transition, 20-acre minimum lot size zone to the RE40 residential estate, 40,000 square foot minimum lot size, hereinafter described in this ordinance.
The Schultes, I may be butchering their last name, are the applicants for this zone change request. They do own this approximate 1.67 acres that's located on Pinion Hills Drive, adjacent to a lot that they already own. And the property hasn't gone through the proper subdivision process yet, but they're wanting to bring it into compliance. And the first item to bring it into compliance is to rezone the property to a minimum lot size that fits the parcel. The applicants are aware that there are a lot of utility and other issues in the Dameron Valley and Pinion Hills area, and all of that will need to be taken care of before a subdivision or lot split could happen. But right now what's before you is zone change request from the open space 20-acre minimum lot size zone to the RE40, which is 40,000 square foot residential estate zone. Planning Commission heard this in their last meeting and unanimously recommended approval of it.
So is this a lot split or a subdivision, or is it simply bringing what is existing on the deed into compliance with what they would like to accomplish?
That is correct. The piece was broken off. I believe the Paces owned it before, and the applicants purchased that, and they're wanting to come into compliance.
Very good. So it's
too small.
It's about coming into compliance. Well, very good. It sounds straightforward. And so, Mr. Chairman, with that, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2021-1169-0, an ordinance rezoning a certain portion of Washington County at approximately 180 North Pinion Hills in Dameron Valley from OST-20, open space transitional 20-acre minimum lot size zone, to RE40 residential estate, 40,000 square foot minimum lot size, hereafter described in the ordinance. And that is my motion.
And I will second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm kind of disappointed in you, Scott. You should bring something more controversial, you know.
Yeah.
I like it when he solves a couple of problems.
Land use is supposed to be harder than this. Not.
Great, thank you. Item number 5, consideration of a resolution number R212717, approving an agreement between Washington County and Washington County Special Service District Number 1 to utilize non-public roads. Part of our cooperation, let's say, between ourselves and the special service districts throughout the county, this one happens to be number 1, is to be able to provide transportation. And Brian our attorney, has worked up this agreement. Give us the nuts and bolts of that for the public record of how we're going to arrange for it. We've all seen the map, but you might add something.
Sure. Yeah, so there's a road that goes through the landfill area, basically, and comes out by the Shooting Sports Park out at the fairgrounds area. It's a non-public road, but as we've been doing work on the shooting sports park, and as the landfill sometimes has some of their bigger equipment that wouldn't be appropriate to drive on public roads, we've kind of discussed with each other of a mutual agreement that we could each use the non-public road as it goes through the other's area. So that's kind of
Right.
And I see some real merit to that, especially with fair season and increased use of the Grafton Legacy Park building. And as events happen on SR9, it's a single in and a single out. An event there at that intersection, a truck tip over or something could be hazmat, and we wouldn't have another route out of there. So having a route out that would get us, allow us to safely evacuate that area would make it both faster and safer. So,
Right.
Absolutely. There's no doubt that we need this. In fact, I think we've talked about this for several times over the past few years. I do have to chuckle, though, because in reality, the county owns the landfill land. And so we're making an agreement to drive on a road that technically
We own anyway.
we own, but we
we're
just
gonna-
want to say that sometimes
we'll
to
be good
remind
neighbors
them. We're
with
good
this.
this
neighbors.
is called
yeah.
magnanimous.
Yeah. Giving approval to swim in your own pool. The one stress that we want to make, though, is that, for the record, is this does not pave the way for any public access. This remains non-public roads, and that's hidden, not hidden in the agreement, but it's understood partially because the landfill uses that a portion of the road that they're doing to get to their construction debris waste area, and it would just cause some significant safety issues going down the road, literally. But I could say that the joke made about the starlings, I went out there this morning early to do an inspection of the recycling that they're doing, and that road out there was literally black with birds. It was insane. And of course, when you drive through, then they all go on the power line, and you wonder, well, how many 1.5 ounce birds can a power line hold? But it was just insane how many birds were out there. Nevertheless, that's the purpose. Thank you, Brian, for clearing that up. I'm ready for a motion.
Well, with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution R-2021-2717, a resolution approving an agreement between Washington County and Washington County Special Service District Number 1 to utilize a non-public.
I second the motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Passes. Item number 6, consideration of resolution R 2021-2721, a resolution approving State of Utah Department of Administrative Services Division of Facilities Construction and Management contract amendment. One breath.
Thank you. The county currently leases to DCFS a portion of the Office Plaza building that the county owns, mainly the entire second floor. Over this last year, when COVID came upon us very rapidly, it affected everyone, and yes, CFS also was affected in some form or fashion, and with kind of their workflow and things like that. Generally, we lease to them for 5 years, and then we have it in the agreement that they can come back and lease again for another 5 years. And they came back this year and they requested maybe just a 1-year extension. They would like over this next year to kind of really analyze what their needs and usages would be for their current space. And so I'm recommending to the commissioners today that we extend to them this 1-year lease, at which time, near the end of this lease, we would meet with them again and determine what their space utilization will look like moving forward.
Very good.
Sounds great.
Well, they've been,
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion then in support of Resolution R 2021-2721, a resolution approving State of Utah Department of Administrative Services Division of Facilities Construction and Management contract amendment.
I'll second that motion.
motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Item 7, consideration of resolution R 2021-2722, a resolution approving an agreement between Washington County and Santa Clara Ivans for animal shelter services. Sir?
Hello. As you recall, you've been involved with this animal shelter contract from its initiation. It's taken a while to get here, and that is on purpose. We did drag our feet a little bit, waiting to see if we were going to have to take over another animal shelter, which didn't happen. So we've been acting in good faith this whole time with Santa Clara Ivans, in that we occasionally drop animals at their animal shelter and they provide services for us. At the end of the year, they sent us a bill, and I had intended to pay that bill, and then I got a call from the chief saying, no, we don't want you to pay the bill, we just want to trade services. So they use our range for their firearms qualifications and training for their police, and they provide animal services for us, and that's the trade that they want to initiate. Now, that being said, I really feel like we are getting the lion's share of that deal, because the bill that they sent me
Don't say that too loud.
Yeah. The bill that they sent me was significantly greater than what I would charge them to our range, which we've been doing for a number of years now. It kind of provides them a stake in the game, so to speak, so that they feel some intrinsic value in keeping the range nice for everyone else.
Such a great idea. Thank you for working that with them.
That being said, I do think we should proceed with the contract, maybe with the amendment that trade in kind or something along those lines, where if they feel like they are not getting the deal that they're currently getting, that they can make some changes to that.
Well, I think any contract is subject to review, but for the moment, it sounds like a pretty fair trade. I mean, they know, too, that they don't want to construct and have for them what you have. So
Right.
there's a little...
And vice versa.
Yeah, right.
Exactly true. So,
And so, Commissioners, just the way that the contract is currently written, it doesn't contemplate the trade as much as just that they would send us a bill for the dollar
Yeah.
amount, but we can work through that, or if
Yeah.
it's approved with that ability for us to work with Santa Clara to just write in that little extra line or something.
and it has been very advantageous for us at the sheriff's office to have two locations to drop animals. One on the east side, one on the west side. Geographically, it just makes sense to move forward with this.
Well, I think the public should know that over the last 10 years, there's been a great push to have the county absorb all of these services, but before my time, and then this one came to pass during the last 2 years, but before me, Victor or Commissioner Cox or Renstrom all worked out something with Laverkin, which quite frankly, now that we kind of have the county covered, the number of complaints or the number of people calling saying you're not doing the public any favors by not having such a facility have dropped to almost zero.
That issue isn't an issue anymore, as far as I can tell.
And so thanks to your skills at working this out and getting the word out to the public, it's a win-win. So
I think so as well.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we took a long, hard look at having a county shelter, and then suddenly we started talking to our partners in Laverkin and Santa Clara and Ivans, and I think by us being a partner with them, it works out better for them. And this animal shelter will help us when all of those dogs up in Winchester Hills, you got to go catch them. And I'm just saying that for Larry's benefit back there, but we need to be able to take them somewhere. And,
Larry, do you
now
still
we're
have
able
the
to-
sway back mare? Oh, darn it.
Very good. And may she rest in peace. Well, I do also want to thank the sheriff's office and
Yeah.
Under Sheriff Stanley for all this hard work. He's been a great leader on this. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution R-2021-2722, resolution approving an agreement between Washington County and Santa Clara Ivans for animal shelter services.
I would second the motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Thank you. Next item is 8, consideration of Resolution R 2021-2723, a resolution appointing Brad Mills to the Southern Utah Shooting Sports Park Advisory Board. Commissioner?
Very good. So our shooting sports park has an advisory board, which is made up by the representation of the venues, and they put forward people, and we had a vacancy there, and Mr. Brad Mills has been nominated to be put on this board. This board's very important to giving feedback to the county from the shooting sports venues that are out there. And so I'd like to make a motion that we adopt resolution R-2021-2723, a resolution appointing Brad Mills to the Southern Utah Shooting Sports Park Advisory.
I would second that motion.
Yeah, I know Brad, he's awesome. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes.
Excuse me, Commissioner, sorry. Can I go back and ask, on that animal shelter contract, was that motion with the small amendment to the agreement that we could have in-kind trading?
Well, I would say the contract agrees for a payment up to a given amount, but it could certainly be negotiated down.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be good for accounting practices, just to be honest with each other, to know exactly how much we would be paying them. And then if they want to reach some agreement with us for how to resolve that payment, then I think that's appropriate. Well,
You know, what's so amazing is how often this happens. It's not an unusual occurrence that the counties and the communities work with each other to help make this a better valley, a place to live in, and how blessed we are really that we have that happening here, and we need to be able to keep that spirit alive.
So yes, it did.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Thank you.
No, you're always can interrupt. Usually that saves us. All right, the next item, number 9, consideration of resolution R 2021-2724, approving an agreement between Washington County and Santa Clara for funding a parking lot at Canyon View Park to service the Little League field and BMX tracks.
This is going to have a tremendous amount of economic impact. Is there anyone from, yeah, there's Brittany. Brittany, would you like to speak to this a little bit and how maybe they've modified those numbers a little bit, but it was amazing there for a while.
Yeah, 500 billion.
The economic impact.
Yes, it was a very hefty economic impact, and I have that here. Just one second, I'll have to pull it out. But this request comes from a recommendation from a presentation of a capital project from Santa Clara City to finish the Canyon View parking lot, which services both the Little League fields and the BMX park. And the completion of this parking lot allows them to do some more significant events at the BMX park, and it just makes it a much better experience for both the visitors and the residents. So the TAB board recommendation was to match the Santa Clara City cash the amount that Santa Clara City was putting into the project as well, and that's $130,000, and then the $30,000 that they spent in the engineering expense. And hold on one second, I'll get you the economic impact number.
I want the first number. It's kind of an inside joke, but somebody hit about 3 extra zeros the first time they sent their proposal.
$10,751,000,000.
Well, that is a great investment.
That was really a lot of return on investment there.
That was a very significant amount, yes. The actual amount was right around 3.7 million.
Yeah, I really like that you guys vetted that and picked up on all those extra zeros too.
Yeah.
This is a good project, and it's one that I believe creates another win-win for destination development and for our local residents and inhabitants to improve their community and quality of life. So,
you know, as we've finished 2020, and it's just been a crazy year for so many, but Brittany, with all of the hard work that folks at tourism have done this year, you know, we were expecting just a tremendous hole in our budget. It came out that they were 1% under projection with what's called TRT. And then the restaurant, which is also an indicator of visitors, was above our projection, right, Brittany?
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
Somebody might ask, well, how can you do that when everything's been shut down and there was all of this? And a lot of it had to do with sporting events that were able to come here because they were canceled in other spots. So people being able to use this facility and other facilities in the county.
We didn't shut everything down.
We didn't shut everything. We fought hard to keep things open here as well. So,
yeah, and Brittany, to back up the fact that these events can be enlarged, and it doesn't necessarily affect neighborhood impact because of its location, but the same thing was true when a local group came to St. George City about 8 years ago and said, we'd like to build 4 pickleball courts out by Little Valley Elementary. And then that became 6. And at some point they said, you know, we can not only help senior games, but we can also get the circuit tour for a lot of their professional tournaments, et cetera, if we have 24 courts. That's the magic number. And those courts are full all the time. Not necessarily for tournaments, but for citizens. And I think that is an indication of another economic impact where, you know, this much is good, but taking it to one more step is even better for the economy. And what people don't realize is they're saying, well, wow, we have enough people visiting here. The truth is that the dollars that come in from tourism actually lowers property tax. And they don't understand that because we still have to provide the services anyway. So, but thank you. So, motion in line?
I would make a motion in support of the resolution approving the agreement R 2021-2724 between Washington County and Santa Clara for funding a parking lot at Canyon View Park to service Little League Field BMX track.
And I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Item number 10, consideration of resolution number R 212725, a resolution approving an agreement with the Utah Quality Growth Commission, the Governor's Office of Management and Budget, and Washington County regarding the Conservation Fund grant. Cameron.
Good
Thanks.
afternoon, Commissioners. So I'm very happy that we have this grant award before us. It's something that we thought we were not going to get this year due to all the COVID cutbacks with the state. And we were actually even notified in January or December that there wasn't going to be any money available. So we were very pleasantly surprised a couple of weeks ago to get an email from their office saying that they were going to award us $36,000 for restoration efforts in Confluence Park.
Great job.
Well, thank you very much. And this is a grant that we typically get, not every year, but when it is available, we always submit and we try to get this grant because it's one of the easier ones that we can match and that we're not necessarily committed to a certain dollar amount. So this grant will allow us to be reimbursed up to $36,000 if we spend the $36,000 ourselves. And oftentimes we don't have to actually spend the hard money. We can usually get in-kind services through staff time, through volunteer projects. For example, last year we did that Tree Utah grant and we had 20 volunteers, we planted trees. All of those kind of contributions count towards a match for this grant. So it's really a great deal for the county and for us, and so we're very grateful that we have this opportunity again this year.
I think it was a little over a year ago that the Quality Growth Commission actually came and visited the park.
They did.
And they were very complimentary and impressed with what a kind of a hidden gem it is, and spoke very highly of it. So, Cameron, thank you so much for your hard work on this.
Commissioner, thank you for your leadership there as well. Amazing what's happening.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of great things have been happening down there. So we're still waiting for those stairs, though.
I know. It should be any day now. I keep hearing.
Very good.
I would go ahead and make a motion in support of Resolution R 2021-2725, a resolution approving an agreement with the Utah Quality Growth Commission and the Governor's Office of Management and Budget and Washington County regarding the Conservation Fund grant.
And I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you both. Motion and a second on item number 10. And for your hard work, Cameron.
Thank you.
In lots of areas. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 11, consideration of resolution R 2021-2726, a resolution approving agreement between Washington County and Journal Technologies, Inc. for legal case management software. Brian.
Yes, so Commissioners, as you may know, the County Attorney's Office uses case management software to manage all of the criminal prosecution cases that we have. The software that we've been using had for about 15 years. We decided to put out a request for proposals for updated software or new softwares. We selected Journal Technologies, Inc., which is actually the same company that we're using, but it's their new, latest software development. And so we will work with them to migrate everything from the old product to the new product, so that hopefully the transition will be seamless as we move forward in getting a case management software that will help us go another 15 years or longer, hopefully, right? So that's what those agreements are.
Very good. So this is with the same company. You're not going to have to relearn all of.
Yeah, hopefully not. There will be
Too much
changes,
more?
but
Big
hopefully
changes.
not too much.
Very good. Well, we
So-
love technology.
Do they not only walk us through several cases because they show, can't they also look back and also provide some of the history of similar cases? When you tap into that resource, instead of buying all these books, don't they also provide an access to some of the historical case law?
So this is not that.
Okay.
That is for like the legal research search engines that we subscribe to. This is more of, if so-and-so commits a crime, then we can put all the information in our case management. Instead of having a paper file that has the information there, it's all in a computer program so that we can keep track of everything.
Right, but my point being is that if somebody is a repeat offender, does this also keep track of the original documentation you
Yes.
put in?
Yep.
I'm sorry, that's what I
Got
meant.
in there. Yes, sorry. Yep. Everything
Okay.
we've got in there.
Then also, how does it protect that information? Can it be hacked?
No, they have a lot of security measures in place, as does our county servers that will be housing
Okay.
it. So we've got a lot of security measures in place.
No might be a little bit fast.
Everything can be hacked, right? Like you can sue somebody
Well, let's
over
hope
anything.
not. But
Okay.
Very good. Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution R-2021-2726, a resolution approving agreements between Washington County and Journal Technology, Inc. for legal case management software.
I second the motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I say aye, also approved. Brian, a question?
yes,
Recently, we've been at, well, over a year ago now, because the last one was all on Zoom, but they were talking about the fact that through the Children's Justice Center and other types of organizations throughout the state that investigate criminal behavior amongst the youth and those kind of crimes. And are we able to find out if somebody moves here from Colorado and commits a crime here, that we can find out what happened in Colorado? Is that also part of this technology system, or is that something else?
so that might be. It depends. So typically we are able to work with the law enforcement agencies of the other jurisdictions as we're doing our investigation, and that we can work together to get the information they have. The information we receive from them, we would put into this software so that we would have it available in our case as we're case. So I'm not sure if that answers your question. I
It
hope
does,
so.
and I was just, it's a dovetail off of my previous question about how protected that information is
Yeah.
for the general public, but within sort of the law enforcement prosecutorial side, you would be able to see if a bad character is coming to Washington County and committing a crime.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the most sensitive information we don't save within the software.
Gotcha.
We access it through UCGIS, that they have their own safety protocols and everything, that we just access it but don't save it in this. This would be more of like the law enforcement reports or something, but not the most sensitive information.
Right, and the same thing to protect law enforcement, same concept at least, to protect law enforcement, our sheriffs would be, they pull somebody over and, you know, they look all innocent and everything, but they're wanted in 10 states. You're going to know that somehow. I mean, it's not perfect. But you hope. Okay. Very good. Thank you for that clarification. Although we have exhausted our regular agenda items, we do want to have our commissioner's report, and anything you want to add to the mix?
I'd be remiss if I didn't report that we picked up a couple of feet of snow on co-ops.
Ah, thank goodness.
Badly needed, and we need a bit more. I hope people will be thoughtful of how they use their water and pray for any more that we can.
Amen.
I went by a big commercial project or company that's on River Road, and the day after it rained, all of their sprinklers are just going like crazy everywhere. And I'm thinking, can somebody hit the off button on that one? Because it's time to conserve is right now, and not necessarily just because we had a rainstorm are we out of the woods. In fact, we're still deep in the woods of a drought. Thanks for pointing that out, Commissioner. Victor, anything?
No, just like to, just echoing that.
I'd like to stress that these meetings are rebroadcast daily on TDS cable channels 22 and 108 HD at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. They are also available on demand at youtube.com community education channel, and are provided, which is provided to the Spectrum on Friday, January 29. That's something else, 2021. I think that was something else, Cheyenne. At least I do want you to know you can revisit these meetings at those opportunities. With that, our meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.